Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namami Buddham Gunasagarantam Santa Sada Hontu Sukhi Avera Kayo Jinguncho Sakalo Dugandho Gachanti Sabbe Maranam Nahanche Namo Tanse Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhanse Namo Tanse Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhanse Namo Tanse Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhanse Satipattananca vo bhikkave desissami Satipattana bhavananca Satipattana bhavana gamini patipadanca. Homage to the exalted one, the worthy one, the supremely enlightened one. Dear friends in Dhamma, today our topic is Vibhanga Sutta. It comes in Samyutta Nikaya. Vibhanga Sutta describes mindfulness in Buddhism. Before we start this topic, I would like to explain something in Buddhism, the primary teachings in Buddhism. Every day, as a tradition, we usually explain the gradual path in Buddhism. As I always mention here, that Buddhism is like the ocean. The ocean deepens gradually from beach to the deeper water. Like that, Buddhism also deepens gradually from beginning to end. Everyone can take something, everyone can practice something according to his or her intelligence, wisdom and dedication. When we describe Buddha's message, we can explain all Buddhist doctrines in 3 stages. That is very important. In the primary level, very first level, Buddha explains some doctrines that we can use to succeed in this immediate life. Even though some people don't believe their past lives and future lives, they believe this life. They want to succeed this life. When we see Buddhist doctrines, we can find a lot of teachings in Buddhism that can be used to succeed this immediate life. Here, we can summarize all of them, all of doctrines that Buddhism says in 5 fields, 5 things in the primary level that we can use to succeed this life. Can you say something? Yes, education. Education is very important to succeed this life. Education is wealth. And also, not only education, but we should have economy. We should have good financial situation to succeed this life. Economics also very important. Next, sometimes, some people don't believe in spirituality. Yes, Kalyanamita also. Before that, we have another thing, health. Yes, health. Not only physical health, but mental health also very important according to Buddhism. Even though we are very wealthy, If we are ill mentally, actually everything we earned is useless. That is why we should have mental health. That is very important. Next, Buddhism says, yes, very good. Moral life or discipline, or virtue, sila, or morality. Fifth one, good friendship, good association. Yes, that is also very important. Good association. These 5 things are very important if someone needs to succeed this immediate life. There are a lot of doctrines that we can see in Buddhism. Especially, there are some discourses such as Singhalovada Sutta, the discourse of Singhala, and Mangala Sutta, the discourse of blessings. We can see a lot of things Buddha has explained. In this level, sometimes some people don't believe their past lives and future lives. It doesn't matter. Buddhism never forces us to believe past lives or next lives. But Buddhism always emphasizes to succeed our lives. Here, it is very important to succeed in these 5 areas. That's the first thing. Okay? The next level, the next thing that Buddha explained. How we succeed our next life. When we are going to this level, we have learned more things in Buddhism. Then we have an understanding that we had our previous lives and also we will have future lives. Then we believe the karmic law. We are confident in the karmic law. Action and reaction. Every action has a reaction. Whatever we do with intention, volitional actions, we will have same results. If someone does something with impure mind, he will have negative results, physically, verbally or mentally, because of impure mind. And the same way, if we do something with pure mind, physically, verbally or mentally, we will have fruitful results because of pure mind. This is the understanding of the karmic law. If we have this understanding, we try to overcome negative thoughts, unwholesome mental states, and also we try to develop positive thoughts and do good deeds. 3 meritorious deeds. Every culture, every moral culture believes and appreciates these 3 things. What they are? The very first one is generosity or dana. Dana in Pali language, sharing, offering something to others, donation. That is very important. Buddha says, he who practices generosity gains a lot of happiness. On the other side, Buddha says, he who practices generosity wins a lot of friends. The way to win friends is practicing generosity. That is the very first one. This is the opposite of greed or attachment. Next one, Buddha says, importance of practicing virtue or morality or moral life. Discipline in our speech and behavior. Here it is very important. Next, Buddhism says bhavana or meditation. Usually these things are important to next life, but we can see results of these 3 things. When we practice these 3 things in our life, we will receive some results. What they are? We will receive longevity, good health, appreciations. These are the results that we receive throughout practicing these three things. The very important thing that we can receive throughout practicing these three things is that good association. When we practice these three things, we meet good friends who follow the same things. That is very important. That good association gives us the Dhamma. Dhamma, good advice. That is why Buddha says the highest gift is Dhamma. The gift of Dhamma excels all other gifts. Sabbadhanam Dhammadhanam Jinati. As a result of practicing these three things, we receive longevity, good health, good complexion, and good association. These things are very important. And as a result of these three things, in this life, we will receive a lot of good results. On the other side, we can overcome some results of our previous actions, negative actions. That is invisible, but we can believe it. When we practice these three things continuously, we can control some negative results of our bad actions which happened in our past lives. And these three things are very important. Success of this first one is like having a bachelor degree. Success in this level is like a master degree. Success in next level, the third level, is like having a doctorate. In this level, it is very important that understanding the karmic law. Everything here depends on the world. What is the world? Yes, mundane level. What's the nature of the mundane level? What is the attitude of mundane level? We think when we experience something, before that there is something outside. After experience, it remains. This is the nature of understanding in this level. Even though we believe karmic law, we think there is some particular certain person who receive these results and who come from birth to birth. That is true in this level, but when we go to the deeper level, in a supramundane level, we don't think that person goes from birth to birth. It's a very deep concept in Buddhism. But first of all, we should be confident in karmic law. That is very important. Without understanding and practicing the karmic law, we are unable to go to the highest level, supramundane level. Even though we practice some doctrines in supramundane level, we dedicate our life to practice some good deeds in mundane level with the understanding of the karmic law. Even some arahants have their enlightenment. They also practice some good deeds in this level, but they have overcome the samsaric circle. In this level, we are in samsaric circle, we come back to the world. Again and again, we come to the world. Because we think there is a certain world. Even though we die, we think the world remains. Always we think, before we experience something, there was something here. After experience, that remains. That is the nature of this level. It is not fault, but Buddhism says, when we go to the deeper level, in the supramundane level, we think we overcome this understanding. It means we don't believe karmic law. We still believe karmic law, but when we go to the deeper level, we see the world in the higher standard. And here, in this level, all teachings, all religions, philosophies, teachings, educations relate to this world. The reason is they think there are some ready-made things in the world. There are ready-made things in the world only in the mundane level, only this level. Buddhism explains something which is not ready-made. We make something at the moment according to our present mental condition. That is the thing Buddha explained in this level with the understanding of the dependent origination, impermanence. Here, there is nothing which is ready-made. Everything is made at the present moment according to our present mental condition. Our entire life is 6 internal senses and 6 external objects. Eye, forms, ear, sounds, nose, smell, tongue, taste, body, feelings, mind objects. This is our entire world. Except these 6 senses and 6 objects, we have nothing. The nature of these 12 things is that they arise at the moment, they cease at the moment. Ahutva sambhutang hutva nabhavisyati. Not being occurred comes to occurrence. Being occurred will not come to occurrence. This is the golden explanation in Buddhism. This is the nature of the dependent origination, impermanence. Impermanence is a very special topic in Buddhism. But impermanence and changing is different. Usually people think that when we ask someone what is impermanence, they think that everything is subject to change, everything changes. Now I am young, one day I am going to old age. Now I am healthy, one day I am going to sickness. Now I am living, one day I am going to die. This building can be destroyed. This is not impermanence. This is changing. Changing means in Buddhism viparinama. But impermanence means anicca. Anicca has a deep, anicca or impermanence has a deep meaning. Such as this sound. This sound is impermanent. This finger can be changed. But this sound is impermanent.
Can you repeat that?
This finger can be changed. It is in the world in truth. But this sound is impermanent. It means that this sound arises at the moment. This sound arises because of these reasons. Fingers, air, my ear, eye consciousness. Because of these reasons, this sound arises. Without these reasons, sound doesn't arise. But the thing is, this sound doesn't belong to any reason. This sound doesn't belong to fingers, air, my ear, or eye consciousness. This sound arises at the moment, it immediately ceases. This sound can be experienced by only my ear. This sound never can be realized by any other senses. But the ordinary people, they think that if I can hear something, it can be seen, it can be smelled, it can be touched, the ordinary people think. When you look at something, that can be focused on my eyes. I can never feel, I can never go to the picture what I saw. I can see this picture only through my eyes. For example, when you look at your reflection on the water, when there is a water basin, you can see your picture there. That picture can be seen by your eyes. You can never touch that picture keeping your hand to the water. You can never listen to sound of that picture. You can never taste that picture. You can only see the picture like that. Our whole experience also like that. That experience also arises at the moment. This is the meaning of anicca or impermanence that Buddhism says. If we can understand this reality, this is the turning point that you know a Buddha appears in the world. Until you realize this reality, you don't know even a Buddha appears in the world, even though you daily offer something to the Buddha. This is the turning point, whether you are ready to go on the path of purification or not. That is the topic that we are going to discuss today in Vibhanga Sutta. Our purpose of life is that happiness. Happiness is the main purpose of everyone. We do everything in the name of happiness here. I would say that in this level, we have to practice 3 disciplines, virtue or sila, concentration or samadhi, and panya, sila, samadhi, panya, 3 disciplines. In this level, we have to practice 5 things. In this level, we have to practice 3 meritorious deeds with the understanding of the karmic law. In the 3rd level, in supramundane level, with the understanding of the dependent origination, Paticamuppada, we have to practice 3 disciplines, sila, virtue, samadhi, concentration, and panya, wisdom. This is the summary of all Buddhist doctrines. Whatever we listen in as Buddhism, we can keep everything in these levels. But sometimes we should be wise to understand the people's volition or their intention, their understanding. Sometimes, in this level, some person have a moral life, has a good discipline in his or her speech and behavior, but he doesn't or she doesn't believe next life or previous life. He practice morality only success for this life. But someone virtue, he practice good discipline in his speech and behavior with the understanding of the dependent origination, with highest understanding. It differs from person to person according to their understanding. And now we are going to discuss Vibhanga Sutta. Before that, I would like to explain the gradual path in Buddhism. The main purpose of everyone is happiness. We do everything in the name of happiness. Happiness is the main purpose of everyone. We explain here the path of happiness in Buddhism. Happiness depends on how far we have purified our mind from negative thoughts. Here we should understand, we should realize what are the negative thoughts that disturb our peace of mind, that disturb our peace of happiness. Buddhism has explained 3 unwholesome mental states that disturb our peace of mind. What they are? Purification depends on purifying greed, anger, and delusion. Reducing these 3 unwholesome deeds depends on, according to Buddhism, practicing mindfulness in the highest level. We can adjust something here, we can add something in the middle, but however, finally, as the final solution, reducing 3 unwholesome mental states depends on practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is the main topic in Buddhism that we are going to discuss in this discourse. In the Vibhanga Sutta, Buddha says, Satipatthānaṁca vo bhikkhave desissāmi satipatthāna bhāvanaṁca satipatthāna bhāvanā gāmini patipadanca. You know, last week we discussed this topic in short. Someone asked me to explain this with details. That is why I decided to discuss this discourse today.
Thank you.
Okay, you are welcome. And here, mindfulness is the main topic in Buddhism. You know, mindfulness. This is the very demanded topic in the current society. This is highly demanded. People earn a lot of money selling mindfulness today. But we should understand the real meaning of mindfulness, what the Buddha taught. That is very important. And the common meaning of mindfulness, according to current society, they think, forget your past, forget your future, live in the present moment. They think that is mindfulness. Actually, that is not the real meaning of mindfulness in Buddhism. If we want to understand mindfulness in Buddhism, we should understand 3 steps in mindfulness. That is the thing which the Vibhanga Sutta describes. Buddha says, Satipatthānaṁca vo bhikkhave desissāmi satipatthāna bhāvanaṁca satipatthāna bhāvanā gāmini patipadanca. Buddha says, "O bhikkhus, or people, friends, I explain you mindfulness, mindful meditation, and the path of mindful meditation. These 3 things are very important. When we are going to discuss mindfulness, Buddhism explains 3 things in this topic. The first one is mindfulness. Mindfulness. And the second one is mindful meditation. Mindful meditation. The third one, the path of mindful meditation. Mindful meditation. These 3 things should be realized by the wise. Buddha says very clearly, Jānato aham bhikkhave passato asvanam khayam vadami no ajānato no apassato. I proclaim the liberation for those who know the path, who see the path. Knowledge is very important. According to Buddhism, knowledge is first in, the Noble Eightfold Path. Right understanding is first. That is very important. Before we start practicing mindfulness, we should understand these three things. What is the mindfulness? Buddha says. Yes, fourfold mindfulness. The contemplation of body, the contemplation of feelings or sensation, the contemplation of consciousness or mind, the contemplation of mind objects, mental formations. Kayanupassana, the contemplation of corporeality or body. Vedanupassana, the contemplation of feelings or sensation. Chittanupassana, the contemplation of consciousness or mind. Fifth one, the contemplation of mental formations or mind objects. Actually everything in the handout. And the fourfold mindfulnesses or mindfulness. We should know not only fourfold mindfulness, but we should know the second thing, mindful meditation. Kaye kayanupassi viharati. The attention in body, feelings, consciousness and mental formations, they relate to this level. Here Buddha says, samudaya dhammanupassi viharati, vaya dhammanupassi viharati. We should reflect on arising and ceasing of body, feelings, consciousness and mind consciousness, mental formations. Not only we should keep our attention in the present moment in body and mind, but we should realize, we should reflect on impermanence, arising and ceasing of these four things. That is also very important. You know, here you can understand the difference, this one and this one. Mindfulness and mindful meditation. Can you guess something here? Satara Satipatthana means fourfold mindfulness. All of them relate to this level. Actually, Buddha says in some discourses, Chittang Panyancha Bhavyang. You should practice, you should develop your mind and wisdom. Developing mind relate to here. It means Samatha Bhavana, concentration meditation. Reflecting on impermanence, thinking, arising and ceasing here. What is that? That is Vipassana Bhavana, inside meditation. You should be wise when you are listening to someone. When you are listening to Dhamma, you should be wise. What I hear, what that person says, that is very important. Here, Buddha says, we should understand the dependent origination. Without understanding dependent origination, we are unable to understand mindful meditation. That is why some people don't know what is the real meaning of mindfulness. That is why they say, keeping your mind in the present moment, forget your past and future, then you can solve everything, every problem. But here, it means practicing inside meditation. Here, the third one, this is what is the path of mindful meditation? The path of mindful meditation is that understanding the noble eightfold path, Ariya Attangika Magga. Actually, everything in your handout with details. Okay? When we discuss Buddha's message, all doctrines that Buddha explained in his 45 years can be included into two pillars. Yes. In one side we can say it samatha and vipassana. On the other side we can say sati and sampajanya. Samatha means concentration, vipassana means insight meditation. In another way we can say all Buddhist doctrines can be included into two things. But they are sati, sampajanya. Sati means mindfulness, sampajanya means mindful meditation or insight meditation. Sati, sampajanya. On the other side, Buddha says, as a wise person, finally, you have to practice only two things. Even though there are a lot of doctrines in Buddhism, don't worry. Finally, if you are wise, you can understand, finally you have to practice only two things. What they are? Concentration and insight meditation. Keeping your attention in the present moment, developing concentration, or keeping your mind in the particular wholesome object for a long time, such as loving kindness.
What were those last two words again?
Sati and Sampajanya.
Sati and Sampajanya in Pali language. Sati means mindfulness.
Right.
Sampajanya means wisdom, or reflecting on impermanence, or insight meditation. Here we can say samatha vipassana, sati, sampajanya, and concentration and insight meditation. And on the other side we can say heavenly path and deliverance path. Heavenly path and deliverance path. The highest quality, the highest doctrine that you have to practice to achieve a blissful life is that practice in concentration.
So, when you do sati, from sati you go to samadhi. Only in that samadhi stage that you can practice the sampajanya, right?
Yes, the important thing is we start this path with the understanding of three stages. You know, mindfulness, mindful meditation, and the path of mindful meditation. You know, that is why Buddha says, I proclaim the liberation for those who know the path, who see the path. This is the path. When we have concentration or samatha, we don't stop here. Because we started this path with the understanding of divine origination. Or the Noble Eightfold Path, we don't stop in this level. As soon as mind is concentrated, we reflect on impermanence.
You have to come to that concentration level in order to
Immediately we go to the deeper level, in the mundane, supramundane level. That is why Buddha says, Samahito bhikkhave yatha bhutam bhajanati. He who concentrates his mind sees the world reality as it is, as impermanence, as arising and ceasing. You know, in other religions also we can say concentration meditation, but they stop in concentration meditation samatha. They don't go to the deeper level, in supramundane level. They stop there. This is the difference in Buddhism. And here, someone can practice this level in first one, and he can achieve a blissful life hereafter. Especially if someone practices samatha in the highest level, he can achieve a Brahma realm. That is the highest level of heavenly path for a blissful life. But Buddhism doesn't stop there. Buddhism points out the deliverance path too. What is that? The cessation of suffering completely. And whenever we reflect on impermanence, arising and ceasing of our senses and objects, finally we have to reflect on impermanence in five aggregates. Rupa forms, Vedana feelings, Sanya perception, Sankhara mental formations, and Vijnana consciousness. These five things arise together, they cease together. As the result of practicing this path, mindfulness, mindful meditation and the path of mindful meditation, finally, the highest contemplation that we have arising and ceasing of five aggregates. Whenever we reflect on this impermanence at the moment, we don't depend on anything in outside or inside in our mind. We completely depend on wisdom. It means reflecting on arising and ceasing. Whenever we reflect on impermanence as arising and ceasing of our all experiences at the moment, we have overcome the suffering of sickness, the suffering of decay, the suffering of death, the suffering of rebirth. Whenever you reflect on impermanence, you don't feel your age. At the moment, you don't feel your sickness, even though you have a very severe physical illness in your body. At the moment, you have overcome that illness. Even though you die somewhere, while you are reflecting on this impermanence, at the moment you don't feel your suffering of death. Not only that, at the moment, if you reflect on impermanence, while you are dying, you are becoming the death, at the moment, your mind is not fixed anything or anywhere. It means your samsaric circle is overcome. And however, this path... Yes.
Please.
Yes, no problem. It's okay. Whenever you reflect on impermanence, arising and ceasing of your five aggregates, if you die at the moment, your mind is not fixed anything or anyone inside or outside. At the moment, your mind is fixed in wisdom completely. It means you don't come to the world again. You have overcome the samsaric circle. It means your enlightenment and finishing your samsaric circle happen at the same time. Same thing happens in the moment while you are reflecting on impermanence. For that, we have to practice it again and again. We can do it at the end of our life. At the end of your life, if you haven't practiced this message, when you think something, your mind is fixed in there. When you see at the moment, when you die, end of your life, your five senses don't work. You completely work with your mind. But when you remember something, when you remember your daughter, your son, your house, your car, suddenly your mind is fixed in there. Then you are ignorant. It means you are ready to come back to the world according to what you think. But as soon as you remember something, if you are wise to understand this is a thought, this is the five aggregates, this arise and cease at the moment, immediately you are inside. You are understanding with inside meditation, then you don't depend on outside. It means you don't come back to the world. Even though you die here, even though you remove your physical body here, if you think something is happening outside, you come back to the world with a new physical body according to your mental condition. Buddhism explains the path, how we overcome this samsaric circle. For that, it is very important to understand the main teaching in Buddhism, mindfulness. When you understand mindfulness, not only you should keep your attention in the present moment, you should reflect on impermanence, and also you should have a clear understanding about what the path of mindfulness is. For that, actually, we have to describe fourfold mindfulness. It is very important. How we practice it from beginning to end. Fourfold mindfulness can be divided into 4 areas. We should start this, deliverance path with the understanding of these 3 things. Then we find mindfulness. Then we find 4 things in mindfulness. Kayanupassana, page number 3. Kayanupassana, please turn your paper, your handout, page number 3, everything is there. Kayanupassana, kaye kayanupassi viharati. We should be aware of our physical body and corporeality. The contemplation of the body. Vedanasu vedanupassi viharati. The contemplation of sensation. Chitte chittanupassi. The contemplation of mind or consciousness. Dhammesu dhammanupassi viharati. The contemplation of mind objects. Here, little by little, we are going to discuss these things with details. In first, the contemplation of body, kayanupassana. Here, we are going to realize what our body is, what the nature of our body is. By practicing kayanupassana, the contemplation of body, we are going to realize what is the nature of our physical body. First of all, we practice mindfulness of breathing. When we breathe in, we keep our attention around the nose. When I breathe in, I know very well, now I am breathing in. When I breathe out, I know very well, I am breathing out. First, we keep our attention in breathing in and out. That is the first thing. That is kayanupassana. That is the first level of mindfulness. Then we think, we reflect on impermanence, arising and ceasing of our breathing in and out. And also we think, this is only a process. This is not a thing which is done by a particular person. Now we think, I am breathing in and out. But with this understanding, we understand this is only a process when we have a mind. As the result of having a mind, this is a process. Breathing in and out, that doesn't belong to me. It is not mine. It is not myself. It is not me. Now we think, I am breathing. This breathing is mine. This breathing is myself. But with this understanding and practicing, we realize this, even though I breathe this here and there, but this breathing doesn't belong to me. This is only a process. And that's the first thing. Next, we practice iriyapata, mindfulness of the 4 postures. We have 4 postures in our life: walking, standing, sitting, and lying down. When we behave these 4 postures, we are aware of what kind of posture that I have. We do everything with awareness. When you sit here, you know very well, now I am sitting. When you walk with awareness. When you stand in, you know very well, now I am standing. And also when you are lying down, you know very well, now I am lying down. But we understand this posture arises and ceases at the moment according to my mind, but this posture doesn't belong to me. This is not mine, me or myself. It is only a process when I have a mind.
So, where is this processing is happening?
Sorry?
Where the process is happening?
Yes, process, there are several things. According to Buddhism, mind, karmic energy, ignorance, food, there are several reasons. There are several conditions which cause to this process. And also, every moment, this posture arises and ceases. It is impermanent. And the main reason of these postures is that food. Food also, it is a very complex topic in Buddhism. Food can be divided into four. Material food that we eat, and there are other food, mental food and consciousness food. There are four foods in Buddhism. It's a very huge doctrine in Buddhism. In short, food means that what we eat. This, when we realize, when we practice mindfulness of the four postures, we understand this is only a process. This doesn't belong to a particular certain person.
Can the mind control it?
Yes, when we control our mind, we can control our posture. But however, it doesn't need to control our posture. We should understand the process of these postures. We control everything in the bottom level. Little by little we are go to the deeper level. We start from the beginning to end. Always, as I mentioned before, Buddhism is like the ocean. It gradually deepens. Here it is a very primary level thing. Okay, next in Kayanupassana, Sampajanya, mindfulness of clear awareness. It means whatever we do from waking up to sleep, we do everything with consciousness, mindfully. It is that when we eat something, when we wear something, when we say something, whatever we do physically, we do everything mindfully. It means it means that we control something. Actually, we don't control anything here. We are only seekers. Yes, we are only seekers.
So this is a projection, really?
Yes, we can say, for example. But when we go to the deeper level, we control it. Okay, now we don't control here. In the fourth level, Dhammanupassana, in Dhammanupassana we control everything. Here we are only seekers. However, when we see this thing, actually automatically it is controlled. For example, when someone says you that, are you angry at the moment? Then automatically our anger disappears.
I will say who?
Yes. That is like that. Here, when we are mindful, actually everything gradually controls. The next one is Patikula Manasikara. It means mindfulness of the body parts, the impurity of our body parts. We have 32 body parts according to Buddhism. Buddha has divided these things before 2,600 years ago. And like ear, hair, skin, hair, nail, teeth, skin, blood, like that. We contemplate on these body parts again and again. I have hair, skin, fingers, nails, teeth, blood, these things we think again and again. When we contemplate on these things, we understand this body is only a process or thing which is made by these things. When we separate these things, we don't take a person as a certain person. Now all of them are together, we think there is a particular certain person. But when we divide these things, we understand our life. Our physical body is a combination of these 32 things. And also they are impure. But when we get together, everything, we think there is a pure thing. But when we separate these things, we understand these are not pure. And it helps us to overcome lust. In the primary level, it helps us to overcome lust or lustful desire. Yes, we have lust because of unknowing this process. And here, we contemplate on these body parts. Not only that, we realize, we reflect on arising and ceasing of these body parts. Our body is the result of our food, what we have eaten. Even though we say that this is my hair, this is my skin, this is my teeth, this is my blood, actually these are the results of food that I ate. This is only a projection of our food. And when we have this understanding, we don't think this is mine, this is me, or this is myself. We are going to break the self-view, crown view. We are going to overcome the self-view, crown view, Sakkaya Ditthi in Buddhism in Pali language. And again, Buddha says, Dhatu Manasikara. It means mindfulness of the four elements. Our body, our physical body is made with four fundamental elements. Patavi, earth element, Apo, fire element, and Apo, water element, and Tejo, fire element, and Vayo, air elements. Our mind is made with these four elements. When we separate these four fundamental elements, we can see our body is the result of these four things. These four things are not my, mine or myself. These things arise with the food, they cease when food disappears. And also we understand these things arise because of our mind. When mind disappears, we have no more physical body.
This is merely a projection of the mind. Is the
Yes,
mind projective?
yes, mind projection.
So in reality, it's only that. It's a projection, it's nothing else.
Yes, actually little by little, yes. The thing is, in the outside world also we can see the same thing. Even though it has no mind, in the outside world also we can see the thing. The important thing is here, our physical body, day by day, it changes according to our mind and food. And when mind and food are not more, then automatically our physical body is like an outside thing. And the next one, mindfulness of the nine channels. 9 channel grounds. It means after we die, gradually our physical body becomes the skeleton. We contemplate on these stages one by one. Then we are mindful in this reality, and with this understanding, we don't take our body as mine, as me, as myself. Not only that, we contemplate on arising and ceasing of the physical body. In this level, we trained our mind to realize our physical body. The main purpose of practicing Kayanupassana or contemplation of body is to realize our physical body or the group of forms, Rupa Skandha. Our life consists with 5 things, 5 aggregates. One of them is the group of forms. By practicing the contemplation of body, we are going to realize the first part of 5 aggregates, Rupa Skandha, the group of forms. Next, we are going to the next level, Vedanupassana, the contemplation of sensation or feelings. Here, when our feelings are pleasant, we understand now my feelings are pleasant. When my feelings are unpleasant, I know very well now my feelings are unpleasant. When my feelings are neither pleasant nor unpleasant, I am aware of that. And also, first we realize the nature of pleasant or unpleasant situation of our feelings. Next, we contemplate on arising and ceasing of feelings. These feelings arise with conditions. When conditions cease, the feelings or sensations immediately cease. It is not permanent. Sometimes you can say, I have a headache since morning. But if I ask you, surely did you have headache from morning to just now continuously? Actually, you have headache when you think it. When someone is departed from you, from your beloved one, sometimes you are worried, you are unhappy. If I ask you, have you been suffering from morning to now after that person died? No, actually someone can make a joke to you, then you are laughing. And when someone does something, you are angry. Every moment our feelings change. It is not permanent.
It is merely a projection.
Yes. And also the special thing that we should understand here, these feelings don't belong to me. It is not mine, me or myself. When we understand arising and ceasing of these feelings, the final understanding that we receive throughout contemplating on this reality, we don't take anything as my, me or myself.
No person.
Yes.
Nothing is really personal.
No particular person, only a process of our actions, our mental actions. Next, we are going to the contemplation of mind, Chittanupassana. Here, we are only seekers. When our mind is lustful, I know very well now my mind is lustful. When my mind is not lustful, that I know very well now my mind is not lustful. Here we are mindful with what is the nature of my consciousness. When mind is lustful, I know very well it. When my mind is concentrated, that I know very well my mind is concentrated just now. And also when my mind is liberated from suffering, I know very well my mind is separated from suffering. Whatever experience that my mind has, I know very well because I am mindful. I contemplate on my mind. It doesn't mean that I control my mind. Mind and mental objects are different, but they cannot be divided. Like, when we get a tea or coffee, we can divide coffee and water and sugar. They are together. But if we know how the coffee is made, then when you drink something, you can understand whether sugar is good or bad, whether it is heat or not, whether water is enough or not, you know very well when you taste it. Because you have seen how it is made. Like that, here, mind and mental formations cannot be divided. Here only we reflect on mind or consciousness. Next level, the contemplation of mind objects, like contemplating on sugar, tea and coffee in a water. Here, the very important place where we should contemplate on mental objects. Here, the first thing is 5 hindrances. 5 hindrances means 5 unwholesome mental states. Kama chanda, sensual desire, vyapada, ill will, thena midda, sloth and torpor, uddhaca kukucca, restlessness and scruples, and vichikicha, skeptical doubt. These are unwholesome mental states. When my mind has these mental objects, negative thoughts, because of practicing mindfulness, I know very well, now I have these negative thoughts. Then, when I reflect on these things and when I reflect on arising and ceasing of these things, immediately the negative thoughts cease. Here we struggle with these negative thoughts because now our mind and behavior is so strong. Now we are fighting, we are struggling with negative thoughts in this level. And also 5 aggregates. Our life, our entire life is 5 aggregates. These 5 aggregates, when those things arise, I know very well these things arise and cease. With this understanding, the negative thoughts gradually cease. Next, we understand the 6 internal senses and 6 external objects. Here we understand, we reflect on impermanence. I is impermanent, forms are impermanent, here is impermanent. As soon as you see something, you know very well that this scene arises at the moment. Your eye also arises at the moment. When you hear something, suddenly you understand this sound arises at the moment, and also this sound doesn't belong to any particular person. And also, not only that, but when you remember someone, you know very well this thought is not permanent. That thought arises at the moment. For example, if you remember someone who has blamed you, if you are ignorant, if you are not mindful, suddenly your mind is fixed in outside person, then you may get angry. Because you don't know that now you are reading your own mind. Actually at the moment that person doesn't know that you are thinking about him. He has blamed you once. If you are ignorant, if you are not mindful, you are blamed again and again by your ignorance. Buddha says, if you want to be blamed, you can be blamed once, but no more. If you are mindful, you can overcome second blamings. As soon as you remember some incident which happened in the past, if you practice this level, you know very well these senses and objects arise at the moment. They are not permanent. They arise at the moment with conditions. They cease together. When you remember who has passed away, as soon as you remember him, you know very well, now I read my mind. Then you can remember someone who passed away. But you can't cry. You can't worry. If you worry, if you cry, you are shy. Because you know the process of arising of suffering. Because you have heard the message of the Buddha. And whenever you are unhappy, whenever you are upset, be sure you are living in the past experience. It doesn't mean that you should forget your past. Buddhism never says us to forget anything. If you forget something, it is a big mistake. When you improve mindfulness, your memory also increases. Memory is not the fault. What is the fault? Fault is when you remember something, if you think still it is happening, that is the reason of suffering. That is the fault. If you are mindful, as soon as you remember something, you suddenly reflect on impermanence. You suddenly contemplate on your inside. When a dog goes to a mirror, that dog look at mirror and it barks. But we never do it. We know very well the reason of reflection is here. Like that, when we remember something, we know reasons are here. It is not permanent. Then immediately we know the impermanence. Then suddenly we don't depend on the outside. We look at inside. Then we have nothing to attach or even detach. That is the interesting thing. And we see only arising and ceasing of our mental thoughts. But, the very interesting thing, while we are contemplating on this reality, we have to live in the ordinary society. We should be wise. Mentally we are in this understanding, and physically we are with the ordinary people. We are like flowers in the, mud. The lotus flower arises in the mud, but it doesn't touch the mud. Like that, we are in the mud of society, but we don't touch their ignorant thoughts. Mentally, we are in the highest level, in the supramundane level. That is why Buddhism points out this path. And next, first we contemplated on negative thought or neutral thoughts. Now from here we are going to contemplate on positive thoughts, wholesome mental states. Now little by little we have purified our mind. We have reflected on impermanence. Now the 7 enlightenment factors have developed in our mind. They are sati, mindfulness, sati, virya, dhammavijaya, keen investigation, virya, energy, rapture, piti, samadhi, tranquility, concentration and equanimity, passaddhi. And now we are rich in spiritual energy. These are the spiritual energies that we have gained, that we have acquired when we come to this level. And, in this level, we are living with these positive thoughts. We completely mindful and we have energy. We practice concentration and wisdom. As a result of practicing these things, our mind is in equanimity. We don't go to extremes. We have made an unshakable mind that nobody can disturb. And also finally, we see the Four Noble Truths, the nature of arising and ceasing of suffering. Whenever we think there is something outside, we are suffering. Whenever we look at inside with the arising and ceasing of our 5 aggregates, then we have overcome suffering. And we can decide whether we should live in suffering or not suffering. And decision is in our hand. That is why Buddha says, whenever you are in mindfulness, it means you are in the field of the Buddha. Whenever you are filled in mindfulness, not only mindfulness, with mindful meditation and the path of mindful meditation, if you are in this area, in this field, it means you have a protection. If you are with mindfulness, you have a protection. You are like in the field of the Buddha. At the moment, no one or nothing can disturb your peace of mind. And whenever you are away from mindfulness, whenever you are not mindfulness, it means you have no protection. Yes, you are in the field of the Mara. Mara can do anything. Mara can control you. Mara means devil or evil. And whenever you are in mindfulness, it means you are away from greed, anger, and ignorance or delusion. The more you practice mindfulness, the more you have overcome suffering. The more you practice mindfulness, the more you have overcome greed, anger, and delusion. The more you have overcome greed, anger, and delusion, the more you have overcome suffering. That is the freedom. That is the liberation. That is the enlightenment. Day by day, we should increase the duration of practicing mindfulness and mindful meditation. This is the real refuge Buddha has proclaimed. Buddha says, dwell with yourself as an island, as a refuge, with no other refuge. Dwell with yourself, dwell with the Dhamma as an island, as a refuge, with no other refuge. This is the refuge. Buddha says, practicing mindfulness is the real refuge, real land, real lamp in our life. Be a lamp by practicing mindfulness. Have any question?
Mindfulness is always in the present.
Sorry?
Mindfulness is always in the present.
Present.
In the present moment.
Yes.
So if we stay in the present moment, constantly,
yes,
we won't have to go to, we don't have to create anything. Because whatever is happening right now is the only thing that's happening.
Yes. Actually, the special thing is here, we can remember anything. We can remember anything which happened in the past.
Yeah.
It is not the problem. You know, when we do some light or flash somewhere, the torch is in our hand. It doesn't matter. We don't throw the torch. We can focus the torch anywhere. But we never throw the torch. It is in our hand. It is in our handle. Like that, you can focus anywhere, past or future. It doesn't matter. You are aware of that. And now I am thinking this one because of mindfulness. Mindfulness also like that. Yes?
Do you have a source document for the Buddhist teachings on food?
It's a big topic, okay? One day I will discuss. In short, there are 4 food. Kabalinkara ahara. It means the food that we get something with broken. Like, bread, rice, like that. This is the food. Vijnana ahara. The food of consciousness. Mind also a food, according to Buddhism. And passa ahara. It means contract or touching something. That is also a food. And also mano sanchetana ahara. The food of mental formations. Yes, passa means when we when we have some connection with something, that connection also is a food through our six senses. That is the short definition in food in Dhammagaru.
Is there a sutta that discusses it?
Yes, there are several suttas. When you search in Google or anywhere for food in Buddhism, you can find it. For foods in Buddhism.
Next session.
Yes. Okay, thank you for your good attention. Okay, thank you for your good attention. Okay. By the power of all these merits, may our departed relatives also enjoy with these meritorious deeds. May they enhance their spiritual energy. May they also attain the good life, and finally may they attain Nibbana. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our departed relatives to recite in the Gatha. Idam me ñāti nam hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nam hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nam hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these meritorious deeds, may guardian deities and angels also receive these merits. May they enhance their divine energy. May they keep their eye on you too. May they also attain the bliss of Nibbana. With that intention, let's share these merits with guardian deities and angels too. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devā nāgā mahiddhikā Puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu sāsanam. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devā nāgā mahiddhikā Puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu desanam. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devā nāgā mahiddhikā Puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu tvaṃ sadā. By the power of all these meritorious deeds, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May your righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain final bliss of liberation, Nibbana. Dukkham pantā ca niddukkha, bhayam pantā ca nidbhayam, sokam pantā ca nissokam, hontu sambe pipānino. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.